nothing that Penny Wong does in the rest of her political life is going to wipe out her disgrace on the weekend. Getting Australia to vote in the United Nations to reward the mass murderers and rapists from Hamas. Now, this decision by our Foreign Minister is so disgusting, so dishonest, and so willfully blind to evil, I can hardly believe it. Wong has betrayed Israel. Worse, she's betrayed us. The shame of it. Now, I know we should also be blaming Prime Minister Anthony Albanese for this, but he just seems to be Penny Wong's doormat. On Saturday, Wong had Australia vote with other nations to ask the United Nations Security Council to accept Palestine as a full member of the UN. Now, just the timing alone tells you how wrong and how evil this decision of hers is. I need to give you a warning here because what I'm about to say may be distressing, and it should be. And I'm not even going to show you footage of what really happened. Wong has offered this reward just 7 months after Hamas terrorists invaded Israel on October 7 and slaughtered 1,200 people, most of them civilians, raped many women, beheaded men, shot children, and took 253 hostages, half of whom are still captive in Gaza, either dead or alive. Every Islamist terrorist will now get the message. Hamas, which runs Gaza, can pack rape Jewish women, it can sexually mutilate them and shoot them, they can kill children in front of their parents, and Penny Wong will then help their cause. Former Prime Ministers are stunned. Scott Morrison calls this vote the most hostile policy act of an Australian government to the State of Israel. This is what the terrorists want. Tony Abbott says it looks like rewarding the October 7 atrocity. And even Josh Burns, a federal Labor MP and Jewish, said Wong should have abstained instead. He said this decision will make Jewish Australians, who are already feeling persecuted, by the way, feel even more isolated. But Wong denies she is doing exactly what she is doing. She's claimed that Hamas would not welcome this vote because it's part of Australia's push for a so-called two-state solution, both an Israeli state and a Palestinian state.
A two-state solution, both Israel and Palestine, is the opposite of what Hamas wants. Hamas does not want peace, and it does not want long-term security for the state of Israel.
Now that's just dishonest because Hamas had already embarrassed Wong by publicly saying, no, this vote was great. It did welcome it, calling it an affirmation of the international rally around our people. Now, can you believe this? The rapists and baby murderers and head cutters of Hamas say Australia's vote is proof that we rally to their cause. Penny Wong has encouraged them. But Wong is right on one thing. It's true. Hamas indeed does not want Israel to exist. It actually wants that October 7 massacre, what it calls the Al-Aqsa flood, repeated again and again until Israel is destroyed.
إسرائيل دولة لا مقام لها على أرضنا، إحنا الدولة لابد أن نزيلها، ومش هذا حتكون طوفان الأقصى أول مرة، لا حتكون ثاني وثالث ورابعة.
Hear that from a senior member of the Hamas Politburo. So, who exactly does Wong think will run her Palestine and represent it in the UN in her so-called pathway to a peace? Because there are only two options. One is the Palestinian Liberation Organization that right now controls the Palestinian Authority, which runs the West Bank. The other is Hamas, which runs Gaza, the other Palestinian territory. She's got to choose. But plot twist here, both of these actually want Israel wiped out. Now, you just heard that Hamas official say that's what we want. The PLO, on the other hand, is the terrorist organization long run by Yasser Arafat, now by Mahmoud Abbas, who was elected the Palestinian Authority's president in 2005 and has banned new elections ever since for fear that Hamas would beat him after already taking over Gaza at gunpoint. And polls say, yes, indeed, Hamas would win any election. Now, it's true that the PLO, unlike Hamas has said in English, it will recognise Israel's right to exist. but it never made good its promise to remove from its official covenant in Arabic its call for Israel to be destroyed. That PLO covenant, to this day, insists that armed struggle is the only way to liberate Palestine, and the state of Israel is entirely illegal. So, which of these two groups, each controlling half of Palestine, each wanting Israel destroyed, does Wong think should represent the Palestine state that she wants in the UN? Which bunch of Jew-hating terrorists does Wong prefer? But I should add one more example to Wong's dishonesty and her cynicism. The UN's own charter says membership in the United Nations is open to all peace-loving states. You've got to be peace-loving. But which bit of terrorist-led Palestine does Wong now believe is peace-loving? Nothing Wong says to excuse this vote makes sense. She's even admitted she made Australia vote on Saturday for something she didn't even like.
This isn't the way we would have done things or the resolution Australia would have proposed.
She didn't want that wording, yet still voted for it. And Hamas is now rightly taking that as a win. You've got to ask, why did Wong do something so stupid and dangerous? Well, I think the answer is clear. Labor is just desperate to appease Australia's 800,000 Muslims, many of them packed into Labor seats. But now you can see the price of that Labor appeasement, encouraging terrorists. Australia telling them that rapes and beheadings and mass murder will help get them what they want, from us at least. What a day of utter shame.